Okay, so this is our first review of 31 reviews or whatever. I don't even know if
31
you,
days of horror movie
I don't know that you could call
challenge.
it a review. We're just going to talk about it
Yeah.
because I mean if it's on the list, it's more than likely good enough. So the first one was Babadook, which was very interesting and funny to say the least. I kept myself amused with just the name Babadook. What,
You
day and a
did.
half like since we picked it?
You
I
did.
was constantly like, and I was just
And every
laughing.
time they said it on the movie, you would giggle, especially when they were reading it for the first time.
And I'll get into that in a second. But yes, I have a drinking game, and they probably did not know that they made a drinking game. Here, I'll get more in a shot. Oh, hi.
Hi.
We watched it together, so she was there.
This was
here.
a movie that I had watched before, but to a point, and then don't remember anything after that. So it was almost like a first again for me.
Right. And this was my first time. I thought I had seen it. I'd heard some things about Babadook, and I thought the name was more funny, so I never actually watched it.
So
And
so what did you think? So the movie starts off a single
then
mother.
a single mom, like it's just telling the story of like the American mom, hard times. Dad dies, apparently on the way to deliver this said child that's in this, and so there's all of that drama mixed with it
Right.
right off the bat. And
So his dad dies. Yes. So it's a mother, Amelia, her son, Samuel.
right, and it it was unfortunate that, like you said, you were telling me kind of the synopsis, but not really telling me about it. But now I had this thing about the kid.
Right. The kid. Some reviews gave the kid the most annoying. You want to choke and kill this
Like
kid
this kid needs to die
because he's so
now.
annoying.
And it's like, wow, I don't want to feel that way right off the bat, but damn, I could tell like within 5 minutes of the movie.
But it was relatable to a parent. Yes.
Oh, to a T. Like I have a child that is autistic, and it is very difficult. I don't think I'd go to the extremes that this mom went to, but it does get you to a point of like you have this much patience,
Right.
and you have to go beyond that. So it's just you totally
Right. So the son has behavioral issues. It's very relatable to parents who
that have autistic.
don't know.
Even if you just have a child, I mean, it's just such a challenge, and then plus you have a challenging child that has developmental issues and whatever the fuck else could be wrong that you're fucking up on, and so it's so right off the bat you identify with the whole situation,
Right.
and then
How did we categorize this? It's not your typical horror slasher movie. It's more along the lines of The Conjuring and Insidious.
you don't see, it's not,
Mhm.
you kind of, it manifests itself, but it's manifested because of like it's a metaphor for something else that's going on. And so that's what I thought was like kind of cool about this is like it's very real. It's very real, and all the feelings that you have are very identifiable, and you're just like, oh shit, I felt that a couple of times, like,
So you see the mother struggling. Her son is getting in trouble at school, and you slowly start to see the buildup of the stress, the animosity she has towards her son.
You start seeing the mom you can see in her face.
And then they find and read the
Babadook. The Babadook book. The Book of the Babadook. Which I laughed. I was trying not to laugh. But god damn it. But I gotta read the book of the Babadook. Yeah. That was good. That was good, actually. Yeah, I don't think I could do the Babadook that good, but it was.
And then you really start to see the spiraling out of control of both the son and the mother, but the son especially with his monster protect, must kill the monster, must protect mom.
Which was like all of it was like foreshadowing what was to come, but I was still like, wow, this kid's like really fucked up, and
he's making weapons,
really fucked up shit, and it's like you just feel so bad because the mom, her eyes, whatever makeup they were doing to her eye, like I swear they must have squirted lemons into her eye. Her eyes were so red, but we've all been there, like with insomnia.
Yeah,
you can't go to sleep, and you're just like, girl,
you have a short fuse this long.
And she's going to work. Okay, so the mom works at a home, like a homing facility.
Nursing home.
It's a nursing home, so it's like she's working with people that are like kissing death all the time, and so she has to deal with that at her job, and then go home and have to play caregiver again for her son. She doesn't even have a break, and and she makes this friend. What was the friend's name? I don't remember. Like the
co-worker friend.
Co-worker number one.
He's a stand-up guy. I say that's who she should have tried to pursue, but she's so wrapped up in her own grief of loss of her husband.
Grief, like no, she was just the kid was. She was dead on the outside. There was just a shell walking around. A puppet.
So, middle of the movie, we would say, she pulls the kid out of school. She doesn't feel like the school is, accommodating enough to the fact that he does have some behavioral issues and trauma.
She got called in because he had the bow and arrow thing and the dart that they were like, well, this could have gone into something. They're just like, well, yeah, but it didn't. And it's like, well, it could lead into something else, and we're trying to help you. And she's just like, burp, like, fuck you, I'm taking my kid out. Yeah. She's like, we'll figure it out.
So the son comes out of school. She starts missing work herself. Coworker steps up, tries to help out, kind of finds out that she'd been fibbing a little bit to him too. But the son is so straightforward. He just says exactly what's on his mind. So, my daddy's in a graveyard, and he's buried in a cemetery, and he died the day my mommy gave birth to me.
He just says what's on his mind. There's no filter. He just goes, in here, out here, doesn't matter. No filter.
And so throughout, this whole time, the mother, Amelia, she's hallucinating.
Right.
So she's hallucinating. She is actually now starting to see the Babadook.
She's buying it.
That the son has already seen it. So she starts not hallucinating, but she actually starts to see it as well, which drives her further and further down the rabbit hole.
Into insanity, which, she now feels like she is possessed.
Being possessed by the Babadook.
The Babadook is now becoming a part of their lives, and and then she becomes actually possessed at one point, and now she's not herself. And the kid is scared. The dog's scared with good reason.
Right. Because don't let it in, and she let it in. She became possessed.
When it knocked at that point at the door, she had already heard it the night before, but she never opened the door. And so then that next morning, when she heard it, that's when she made the mistake. She opened the door, and then now it was in.
So, that's where it really starts to remind me of The Conjuring, where it possesses the mother to kill the child.
Right.
Basically, it's telling her to do these things. It's showing her to do these things. Kill the dog.
Kill the dog, yeah.
Strangle the son.
Yeah. And the dog killing was...
And all along, she has no support of her family. Her sister, their cousin.
Well, okay.
Everybody doesn't like her son.
We're skipping over a really big part when she went to the police station. And she didn't have the book. The Babadook book. Duck. She burned it. Why did you... So you threw it out. You ripped it up. Why did you think burning it was going to have any different effect other than what had just happened? And it was she goes to the police station. She has no evidence. She's just like, yes, somebody sent me a child's book.
Somebody is stalking me, she said.
The people there were laughing. There was a couple of cops, and one was
sent me a obscene children's book, a demented children's book.
Yeah, we'll get right on it. We'll get, Jiffy the Giraffe and fucking, the Hanna-Barbera gang, and they'll go and look at that.
So that was more comedic for you than...
It was ridiculous. It was so unnecessary because it went nowhere with the story. So I was just kind of of course they're going to look at her like a fucking psycho because that's a pretty psychotic story.
Right.
I took the one piece of evidence and I burned it.
Right. It was sort of like her last attempt at trying to get a grip on what was happening.
Right. And that was like, you know, and who even knows if that was true, because she was at the station, she saw the hat and the thing, that, you know,
his coat, his outline of his talon
whatever,
wings, and his top hat.
He was definitely channeling
and then
Jack the Ripper. Had a Jack the Ripper kind of.
But then the voice sounded very Grudge-like. The Grudge. Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of I don't know if you call it parodies, but a lot of similarities between horror movies. So towards the end, the son is prepared for what's about to come. The mother turns for the worst.
It was pretty amazing that the son had all the traps set up, and like, you know, it was looking like, wow, this kid's just like another fucking, you know, just fucked up because of his situation. Like, you know, my mom's fucked up, my dad's gone, nobody likes me. There was some, okay, so that was, we're like skipping over a lot of stuff. Like the stuff with him interacting with other children was so heart-wrenching, because there was, you know, I think, you know, I come from hitting puberty very early, and fucking, like, there were times I didn't want to be around people, and I could totally identify with him, even though it wasn't
socially
puberty.
Awkward, he was just different.
He was just fucked up, and so, yeah, I just felt like you end up feeling really bad for him. At first, you're like, shut the fuck up. Quit fucking with your mom's life, and then you're like, oh man, he's just fucked up because he doesn't have his dad. But then you just go back into not liking it.
Right, and the fact that not only did he not have a father, never met the father, but the mother really kept all memories and kept it all from him.
Right, like
didn't even let him actually know through memories and conversations who your father is.
We don't talk about him, and we just don't address it, and it is where it is. He's screwed up. He's in a graveyard. Yes, as the boy put it. Didn't he say his father's in a graveyard?
Yeah, but he remembered his tantrum. You won't even let me have a father.
Right. So,
So ending. So we've gotten to the middle now. Let's get to the end. The ending. How do you feel they ended this? With basically, it's like
she's still feeding the Babadook. She still feeds the Babadook. She's never gotten rid of it. That resentment, I feel like, is always going to be there, and that is basically what the Babadook is: her misery and her sadness,
her grief of loss of her husband,
her grief, yes, and her resentment. And so
we're taking the Babadook as a metaphor for basically our inner demons.
It's a totem.
Our inner grief.
Yeah,
emotions.
It's a complete metaphor for everything fucked up that you're going through. Those are the dark thoughts.
It appears though that they meet a head on with the Babadook. Right. She fights it for, you know, for good or evil, or I don't know, for better for worse. She fights it. She still killed the
dog. Like, god damn it! Like that was rough. You didn't even watch it.
No, I could even hear the dog squirm, or like the dog sound, and I'm just like, mute it.
What did you do? You got up
and
you were just like, yeah, I'm just going over here doing
some stuff. Tell me when it's over. Tell me when it's over.
Yeah, it's just like, oh. So yeah, the dog body count dog. Really no other body count
other than the husband.
But that was off screen.
True, but they replay it a couple of times
with. Died on screen.
I think it's going to rain. Mm-hmm. And the son saw it, so that's what triggered him to go, holy beep. Mom's now the monster.
Yeah. You beeped yourself?
I did.
I don't have to beep that later. I don't have to beep every fuck I just did, so...
Beep, beep.
Including that fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. So anyway, Babadook.
On a rating of, what, 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I would get... To start off all of this, I thought this was really good.
Okay.
I thought it was different. I gave it an 8. Only because I just like the psychological and the real aspects of it. It addresses, it's like the one that I always mix up, the one that has to deal with Alzheimer's.
Oh, right, the taking of Deborah and Norman.
So the taking of, I put that in the same category as this. It deals with things that are very real.
Yeah.
and that can manifest themselves into something else. Although the other one is like possession, demonic possession. Right. This one is demonic possession if you, I don't know, if you allow it to be, like if you let mental health go.
If you let your mental health,
point, if you don't address your issues, you know. And I think that's what a lot of, like, I was talking to somebody the other day about how this keeps getting, like, mental health gets brought up more now than it ever did within the last 20 years. And I think it's something that's, like, way overlooked. So the fact that this kind of attacked that from, like, something that's so relatable as parenting.
I, on the other hand, did not give it such a high score. I probably fell maybe around a 4. A 4. When I watch a horror movie, I want to be scared. This really didn't scare me. It did have some weird moments with her hallucinations, and the Babadook itself is pretty creepy looking. But if it's going to be a supernatural, I want to see a little more supernatural. And if it's going to be just a psychological, then let's just keep it.
I think that's really what it was, though. I don't think it tried to go into this kind of gory, but not gory. It wasn't. It made you have to use your brain to make the horror.
Exactly. It wanted you to kind of come up with your own idea of what the Babadook is.
No special effects, no Tom Savini, no bullshit. Like, it was, you got to come up with this.
I gave it a 4.
That's fair,
it was an Australian.
It was my first watch.
What was it? An Australian film?
Yes, and it was my first watch, and I honestly, I don't remember the movie. If I did watch it, I don't remember any of it. It was all fresh. I was involved in it. I was, I didn't walk away very many times.
You watched.
I'm very ADD oriented. Like, when we set this up, I actually wanted to make it to where I could move around and walk, and she was like, no, the moneymaker. So I was like, all right, for you. I'm like, sometimes I like to walk and, like, not have my face in the shot, but.
Okay, well, 31 days, October 1st has started. 31 days of horror movies. The Babadook is in the book.
The book.
And what you came up with, you were thinking of a drinking game. The drinking game of...
It has to start at the beginning of the movie, and it's how many times they say...
Take a drink. A shot.
Babadook.
Every time.
At the beginning of this movie, within the first 10 minutes, I would say Babadook got said 30 times. Over under. I mean, am I off?
No, true. Dozens of times.
They wore it out to the point where they didn't even say it at the end of the movie. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They did not say Babadook at all.
It was as if the Babadook actually was the mother, and the mother was the Babadook.
It hit the crescendo, and then it was just, you never heard. I didn't even hear it at the end of the movie. Nook, nook, Babadook.
Nope.
Give a dog a bone. Like, no, nobody. Nobody
Take
said
a
it.
Look. It's a Babadook.
It's a Babadook. Take a look.
So we haven't decided on. You haven't decided if you want to do reviews every single day after the movie is watched.
So yeah, I do.
I propose.
She can't do her makeup
a couple of days.
She can't do her makeup every day, so that's the problem.
I can. That I can do. But I just thought it would be funner to give us maybe something more to talk about, shorter talking about each movie, but more movies to talk about. Does that make sense?
Anyway, so she doesn't want to do her makeup.
Not true.
Anyway.
Well, this has been fun. My favorite thing is horror movies. This is my favorite time of year, and thank you for having me on your YouTube channel.
We're probably going to keep doing this since I've already advertised it as 31 days. Don't expect any pay.
Yeah.
I do give hearty handshakes. And thank yous. So yes, the Babadook's in the book.
All right, tune in tomorrow. What is tomorrow's drum roll? What is tomorrow's movie? That I don't even know. Amityville.
Amityville.
The first one, the original.
James
right?
Brolin.
Yes.
Or James Brolin.
Yes.
Michael Brolin.
I have to admit that all of these movies I've seen, but there are a couple that we're gonna decide whether to watch the original or the remake, and
most of them are gonna be the original. I want to see the OG because there would be no Amityville without the original. So
Amityville tomorrow.
That means I'm serious. So I'm doing this.
I don't think we have a set time for when these will get posted, but if you want to keep watching the 31 days of horror movie reviews,
you could always thumbs up. I hate saying this crap. I don't thumbs
give
up.
A like, thumbs up, subscribe.
Do whatever. You know what? You could thumbs down. It's fine. If you wanted to watch halfway and then just turn it off, or you put it on mute.
Okay.
All right.
I'll mute you.
All right.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Have a good day. Good day. Bye-bye then.